Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a match between Scarlett and Neeb here on Pillars of Gold, the latter edition. Top right hand corner, it is a red Zerg player, it is Scarlett, and in the bottom left it is Neeb, a blue Protoss player. America versus Canada here today for ya. This is from 2020, I think in November. So it's not a super recent replay, but it's on the same balance patch as it is today, as StarCraft is today. Anyway, ooh, we're gonna have a proxy? Let's have a proxy. Nope, just a hatch block. Kind of disappointing, but hatch blocks are normal, and Scarlett is prepared for it. She'll just take her natural base here, and then once we can clear off the probe, she'll put a hatch here as well. God, this music takes me back. Are we at a point where StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty is nostalgic yet? This takes me back to a time when StarCraft 2 was new and shiny, and I got it, but my computer couldn't handle StarCraft 2. Like, the graphics were terrible because I was using a $350 compact PC at the time, and it was very sad. But then I bought an actual video card, and it was beautiful, and the music was great, and the campaign was a ton of fun, and the ladder was fun too. And then I started getting 4-gated all the time, and I didn't know how to stop it, but then I found a video from HD StarCraft where I learned how to stop it, and it was great. And yeah, good times back in 2010 playing StarCraft 2. And the music was just like, wow, and the graphics were just like, wow. And I know a lot of people have kind of stuck with Brood War over the years, but man, there's still a lot I love about StarCraft 2. A lot I love about Brood War. I understand most people are one or the other, and that's fine. They can do that. I'm not going to tell them what to do. But for me and my house, we love Brood War, and we love the StarCraft 2. Now, is there anything crazy happening here on Pillars of Gold? The answer is 9. No, not even a tiny bit of anything interesting whatsoever. This third hatch timing is going to probably be about 2:30 or 2:40. Pull the workers off gas, so this isn't any kind of a super aggressive roach attack or anything like that. You need gas for that, we don't have it. Neeb is opening up Stargate, because what else are you going to do against Zerg these days? And an adept moving out for a scout. Neeb has this thing down to an absolute science. Can't disagree with him there. And honestly, so far so good for both players. 245 third base from Scarlett. We'll see if we go Void Ray to open this. Or Oracle Void Ray, or Oracle Oracle, or Oracle Void Ray Oracle, or Phoenix Oracle, or Phoenix Void Ray Oracle. There's a lot of options here. Like, there's really nothing nailing it to the wall about exactly what you need to make out of your Stargate first. But it's generally Oracle, so let's see what we get. Neeb says, is going to be a Void Ray. Alright, Void Ray starting up. Maybe try to kill some Overlords, Adepts, making sure a third base exists, and that's all really Neeb cares about. Making sure that exists. And yeah, just absolutely going for as many drones as possible here. Scarlett is not worried about it, man. Not worried about early aggression, not worried about being aggressive herself. She's just getting 3 bases up. We'll probably take a 4th base fairly quickly based on the information we have here. Overlord says, yes, the Void Rays, they have arrived. There's one of them. Okay. Then an Oracle on the follow-up. This Overlord's like, run. Run as fast as you can. There's Void Rays out. Don't let them catch you. Oracle name is Yes Man. Hello, stranger. I'm a security Tron from New Vegas. I have been reprogrammed so I can literally never say no to anything. So when some weird folk from the sky asked me to be the pilot AI for one of these Oracle thingies, I had to agree. Haha, I am literally terrified for my life, and I can't even complain. That's Yes Man from Fallout New Vegas. I played about an hour of Fallout New Vegas, and then the combat bugged me a lot. So I got out. So I don't know, I should go back and play it. People love New Vegas for the story a lot. But I don't think I will anytime soon, that's for sure. Third base here from Neeb, easy as pie. See, I don't know why Zergs don't just take a 4th at this point. I don't know why they send the Lings out at all. Like, you're not going to shut this thing down. There's a Void Ray, there's 2 Adepts. They're all squished in here. You can go for it, sure, but it's not happening. And these Lings could, you know, is a nice down payment towards a hatchery. A 4th hatch would be great in this situation. Zergs don't do it, though. Zerg's got to get a Roach Horn, got to go for a lair, got to get spores up, got to drone up some more, fully saturate this third base. Oracle's got 0 kills to this point. Sorry, yes, man. I mean, you were kind of conscripted into this. You didn't really want to do it, so I understand if your heart is not in the process of killing things. That's fair. Resonating Glaives at this time, at this hour, in this part of the country, and localized entirely within Neeb's base. Oh. Yeah, whatever. Stasis is catch 1 drone each, not a big deal. Good reaction from Scarlett there. So, are we doing a Resonating Glaives Adept off of 3 base play? Kind of feels like we are all of a sudden. Which is weird. I mean, it's not fast. Scarlett's already got roaches in production before Resonating Glaives is anywhere near done. So, I mean, she should be able to hold this extraordinarily easily. Like, not even a problem, you know? Oh, this drone needs to get back to work. Oh, it came out of stasis. There we go. The 2 workers that came out of stasis need to get back to work. That's what it is. Maybe they just came in. I don't know. So here come the Adepts with Resonating Glaives. We have 6 roaches out with 9 on the way. There's just, I mean, I would be shocked if this gets any more than, we'll say, 7 drone kills. If that, at this point. I mean, so there's nothing to do here. And they're just, yeah, they just cancel the shade. There's too many roaches out. That drone's dead. I guess that counts as a death as part of this whole thing. Adepts once again. Oh man, if they finish this, okay, and they don't. They don't finish it, but they're still dealing with roaches. The oracles are in here to provide some additional support as necessary. Yes, man had to say yes when he was commanded to come over here. Some leagues making sure there's not a 4th base anywhere. And yeah, this is just, it's just such a tenuous time for the Zerg player. They're on even base versus the Protoss. It sucks. I mean, they can have a bigger army because roaches are 2 supply each and pretty cheap. Oh, Neeb playing it safe here, man. He wants his Adepts as part of the follow-up attack group, and I can't necessarily say that I disagree with him. A lot of the time we see this, right? The Adepts recognize there's not a lot of damage to be done. Let's go ahead, hold out. We can be useful in future attacks. You don't have to suicide us in there and not get anything from us. 4th base coming in, and that hatchery from Scarlett looking good. Now, again, I'd love it if it was earlier, but maybe just the inability to defend it. Ah, yes man dies fairly well, yes man. Nice revelation toss, though. Way to go, bud. Lurker Den coming in. So it's going to be Hydra, Ling, Baneling. Going to be largely the play right now with some Lurker, obviously. Perhaps a lot of Lurker. We'll see how that goes. I've been recognizing the Adepts mean there can't be a ton of Immortals out. Answer is 3, with 2 more on the way, so there will very soon be a lot of Immortals out. So you gotta be careful. Got to be careful with that stuff, is what I gotta say. Hive on the way from Scarlett. 1, 2, 3, 4th base. Hatching in. Templar Archives in production. And there's your 3rd or 4th base, rather, on the way from Neeb. So, I don't know. Both players are going to max out here in the next couple of minutes. Scarlett knows when to drone and when to make units. Neeb knows to continually produce probes all of the time. He's making 3 at a time right now. And Scarlett's income is skyrocketing a little bit, being on these 4 bases, fully saturated, looking fantastic that way. It's really important just to have full saturation on your bases as much as you can. I know it can be kind of hard to Zerg because you're pulling drones off to build buildings and stuff, but replacing those with workers for those mineral patches is nice. 6th base, actually. Wait. 5th base, rather, on the way. Counting is hard. And here comes an attack. We got Immortals. We got Adepts. We got Sentries. We got High Templar. Ling Roach run by coming in here. This is actually somewhat dangerous, and it is forcing Neeb to pull back there. You can see him heading this way. The Zealots are trying to buy enough time for the rest of the army to show up here. And they are going to do that. That also buys Scarlett a ton of time on the other end. So this Adept survives, and thanks for lucky stars. She probably doesn't want to chase too much. Yeah, she does not. But yeah, see, Neeb was threatening up there, and Scarlett's little, you know, Roachling run by forced the entire army of Neeb back. He didn't want to lose his 4th. even if he maybe succeeded with this attack to some extent, that's not a guarantee. You know, you don't know how much damage you're going to get done. So like I said, Scarlett's maxed out. 182 supply here for Neeb. Got 23 roaches, 8 lurkers. 8 hydralisks as well. We're living here on Pillars of Gold, as previously mentioned. Hit that like button if you're excited for this match. I mean, I know it's already started, but it hasn't really started, has it? Warp Prism trying to do Warp Prism things, but there are definitely Hydras patrolling back here. Some free Zealot scouting to see if there's a base over here, but there's not. Big old... There's nothing that shoots up here with this army at all, or shoots up at all with this army, but the Immortal count's enough to make roaches utterly useless. And lurkers are going to struggle a lot, too, against that many Immortals. Adaptive Talons coming in. I'd like more Hydras in this play, but again, the Storm's a problem. But what do you make against Storm, right? Like, a Storm. Obviously, I'll go for this composition. It's just like, I guess Ultras don't take a ton of damage from Storm, but, like, you can't get those out this early. Not against somebody as good as Neeb is, that's for sure. Seismic Spine's done? Seismic Spines is done. It's just a question of, yeah, the range here. The range on the Lurkers is what really makes them as good as they are. And we're transitioning into carriers at 11 minutes, because of course we are. Got 4 bases up, got a nice ground army. This is what all the good Protoss players do, is they get into carriers eventually. While, again, remember what I said, there's nothing that shoots up here? There's 10 Hydras. 2 Spires are on the way from Scarlett, though. She's generally very good with Skyzerg. Yeah, this little attack is cute. Like, it's going to kill some Zealots. Kill to get Gateway. Maybe a couple probes are going to go down here as well. Oh, these... Man. Oh, I was going to... Oh, he just stormed his own probes! Oh, no! Okay, that... Wow, I understand he wanted to kill the Roach and the Hydra, but he just killed a bunch of his own probes in the process, too. So that's brutal, Neeb. Alright, top left base from Scarlett. Gotta say, Scarlett's in a pretty good spot here. Right, both Spires are done. We are not actually working on anything that comes out of the Spire yet, but, you know, I feel like eventually we will once we recognize this is a committal to carriers and not just like a couple carriers for fun on the weekend. This is 3 carriers with 3 more on the way. And it's just, Hydras are just really not the answer here. Unless you have Microbial Shroud, which maybe you could have. I don't see why not. Burrow the Lurker before it dies. What are you doing? Okay, bye, Lurker. I guess we don't need you for anything. We're going to attack right side with a billion Lurkers, which the Immortals don't want to engage with. The carriers certainly do. And then to come left side while the distraction is happening, and there's only High Templar here. So when I say only High Templar, I mean everyone's going to get stormed into oblivion. The Immortals combined with the Storm are exceptionally good. Shield Batterers getting sniped is never a bad thing, though. Lurkers just making sure the ground army pursuing them doesn't want to pursue them. Carriers are pretty slow. Lurkers can run faster than they can. Sniping, ooh, there we go. Sniping an Assimilator is not bad. Slowing that gas income is fantastic. And it looks like these Lurkers are probably going to die. They don't seem to be being retreated at all by Scarlett, but drag the whole army away. Scarlett really putting the pressure up right now, and I love it. I really, really do. +3 ground carapace is on the way right now from Scarlett. Meanwhile, we do have a Zealot warp in over here. There we go. Now the Zealots are doing stuff. But carriers have arrived. The day of the Lurker, I feel like, has come to an end. The Hydras are trying to do what they can, and actually allowing the Lurkers to survive because there's enough Hydras here. Wow. With +3 attack to actually kill all of those interceptors, the carriers have to retreat from that position. Neeb's like, all right, well, we'll go for some kind of a weird base trade, I guess. Man, look at Scarlett. She's not even killing this base. Ooh, denying that +2 air weapons upgrade. Bam. Denied. But on the other side, there's really not enough to stop this from happening. Where Neeb is taking it to Scarlett. Goodbye. The third base, all these tech structures are in an immense amount of trouble. This is not good, but at the same time, oh, all of the Stargates dying would be such a big friggin' deal. How many interceptors are there? Again, not enough. Not enough to deal with this many +3 Hydras, with soon to be +3 Armor, which means they have +2. This is a problem. This is a problem. Neat. Wow. This is turning into quite a match, everybody. I gotta say, these lurkers are denying all of the mining at the one base of Neeb's. That is still mining. The income is hugely favoring Scarlett. A bunch of her tech structures died, though. She still, unfortunately for her, has the Hydralisk Den, which is great. But these warp gates are going down. The fleet beacon dying, but it'd be pretty awesome, too. The hive dies. The lurker den dies. I mean, this is some serious Archon High Templar immortal stuff right now. This lurker, oh my gosh, by itself, largely, has taken down this Nexus. The Hydras are going to come steal his glory. They do not steal his glory. He gets the kill. Nice. Neeb trying to build a source for his income. He's long-distance mining at this point in time. There's really nothing that's stepped up here at all. Finally, the Mass Hydra comes home. Going into a choke against High Templar Storm is going to be bad, so this is why this hatch is going to die. The top left base is dead. This base is mining, which is great. Scarlett's taking the bottom right base. This is bonkers. This is officially getting a bonkers rating from Falcon. Whether it gets an epic rating, we'll have to wait and see here. So technically... Oh, this lurker, though. Only 4 kills, but has really been denying a lot of mining at this base for some time. So Neeb's on 2 bases mining, and Scarlett's technically on 1 base mining after all of that. Like, you would think... Are these guys going to die to broodlings? Oh, one of them did. Oh, the other one. Oh, it's some Hydra support. That sucks. Okay, so army supplies 110 to 80 right now. Scarlett's got 33 drones, but again on 1 base. 2 bases technically now. That one is finished. Carriers are still... I don't know. It's hard for Hydras to kill them. To catch them is a problem. If you have enough Hydras to kill the interceptors, that's great. But catching the carriers themselves as they fly away is another thing altogether. Fairly well. Overlords. Income is, again, largely favoring Scarlett, but we've kind of reset the game here at 16 minutes. Resources lost are 29,000 for Scarlett, 23,000 for Neeb. Changelings seeing the exact composition of what's going on here. A lurker tried to burrow on in, but got completely sniped by an Immortal Observer combination because, of course, Scarlett trying to take a 3rd base here to... Oh, this attempt at a 4th also goes down. The double expand does get punished, as sometimes that happens. Bottom right base in a heap of trouble. So we're very close to being a 3-base Zerg versus a 2-base Protoss. Even on supply. Worker count is favoring Scarlett here, but she needs it in order to handle this. She's still, again, the only answer she has at these carriers are 47 Hydras, but the Storm can be such an equalizer there. Can really wreck those Hydras if the control is not perfect. So, yeah, you don't want to send those interceptors in there. They will all die, and Neeb can't really afford to replace all of them. So baiting a little bit with the interceptors, tossing down a Storm. Scarlett too smart to send everybody, though. Yeah, Storms are, it's 2 Storms for 1 Hydra and a Changeling. It's a Storm for no Hydras, but damage done is damage done here. Bruising up Hydras is good for future attacks. Lurker Den coming up. Scarlett retaking her natural. Might actually possibly keep that Hydralisk Den from dying, but it's gonna be close. 50 HK, so it's popped. The creep spreads out, and the death of the Hydralisk Den stops at 72 and starts to regen. So keeping the Hydralisk Den alive was really down to the second there. That was good. Scarlett sending some lings out to see what's going on. I'm surprised Neeb hasn't tried to go for a 3rd Nexus yet. He's pretty happy to be on 2 bases at the moment. Zerglings just being a nuisance. But Archon's a good answer to a small number of lings for sure. Ooh, that's a dead Archon. Archon overextended. Dead Hydra. Ooh, dead Void Ray too. And Storm. This is pretty intense. I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised I missed this replay. That's what I've been doing recently, is going back and looking at some of the older replays I have in my replay folder. seeing amazing games that I missed. We're going to be tossing them up on the channel here over the next, couple of weeks at least. Because I just feel like, at this point, especially where it seems like we're not getting a whole lot of balance patches in the future, that Amazing StarCraft is Amazing StarCraft. That's what I do on my Brood War channel. It could be a recent replay from this month. It could be something from 10 years ago. I posted a 2021 Brood War replay on the channel last month, and it got a decent response. People were like, oh, super old StarCraft? What is this? And the players were bad because everybody was bad back then? It's kind of fun. I'd love to cast a... we were talking about this, right? A Wings of Liberty replay. I think if I can find a version to download that is only Wings of Liberty and load that. So it's on the old patch. It's on the old software. I think some of the older replays I have might actually work. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. That might be a possibility. 4 Vipers in production, which is going to be really good versus these carriers. And the High Templar and the Immortals. Okay, yeah, it's going to be good. Right? Abduct in this situation is going to be amazing. Creep spread getting mowed on down. Hydras can destroy everything here except for the Storm. Right? If it wasn't for the High Templar, the Hydras would wreck this whole thing and Neeb would just lose. So if that doesn't tell you how important Psionic Storm is to your games, Protoss players, I don't know what to tell you. If you're a lower level Protoss and you're like, I keep losing to Zerg, I keep losing to Bioterran, it's like, well, here's this. Storm. Figure it out. It's honestly like Vipers in Zerg. Viper is totally game-changing for Zerg. The ability to abduct, the ability to throw down Parasitic Bomb, Blinding Cloud, all 3 of these are insanely important spells for you in the mid to late game against anything. Abducts the carrier, but has to kind of wander into Storm to kill it and decides to back out instead. Feedback on the Vipers is good. That's the other thing, man. Feedback. If you're not familiar with how the range of feedback, it does outrange Vipers. It does damage to the spellcaster, right? As much. Ooh, abducting another carrier, but took a feedback for it, and the carrier didn't die. So not the best abducts I've ever seen, but Neeb's not really allowing his carriers to get in a position where they can be used for incredible abducts, you know? If the Hydras get too close, they get a Storm to the face. So they're not really in position to kill those carriers when they get abducted. Still, there we go. Third base is done now from Neeb at 6 o'clock. Income is now actually favoring the Protoss at the moment. Retaking the main base, Scarlett. I guess there's about 800 gas here. About 1,000 minerals. Sure, whatever. I mean, if nothing else, it's the furthest point away from the Protoss. So killing it requires the Protoss to go the furthest distance over creep. So it's probably the safest place for tech in the entire game, generally. I mean, Scarlett did like putting all of her tech in the natural base. In this game, not that it helped a whole lot, but also the main base died, so it wouldn't have been safe there anyway. But boy, hit that like button if you're enjoying this match. This has been intense to say the least. Also, a quick plug for the Falcon Paladin, our weekly podcast with myself and Somicron. We make bets on things like GSL. I've had an Australian flag flying in the front window of my house for a while now because I lost a bet versus Somicron for GSL. I believe it was Cyril that I picked to go further than like Maru, and Cyril got 3-0'd, I think, in the first round of the playoff, and it was real sad. Sorry, Cyril, it's my fault you lost that one. Anyway, just check it out. Search Falcon Paladin anywhere you get your podcasts. You'll find it. Promise. Also, just on the internet. If you just search Falcon Paladin Hour, you can stream it at abyssaltrip.com. You don't even have to download an app or anything. Alright, anyway. What's happening here? A +3 flyer attack is coming in for the corruptors that exist now. First time all day, we've got some corruptors. Creep spreading, right, creep clearing rather. 105 creep tumors have died today. I mean, you can only clear as many tumors as the Zerg player makes. That's 39. Scarlett's creep spread has always been amazing, so you always have the opportunity to kill a lot of creep when you're playing against her. So 4 base, I mean, it's weird, but we're kind of settling into both players are maxed out. Both players are on about 4 bases. It's like we've rewound the game to about the 10-minute mark. Maybe 11-minute mark. And here we are again. Like, for all that death, for all the 30,000 resources lost by Scarlett, we're back there. Neeb, always very careful. The best Skytoss players are always very careful. Ooh, double abduct, and now the mothership is dead. Fare thee well, mothership! Oh, another carrier down to an abduct as well. So got some abject chaos in here. A lot of interceptors are dying, though, and that's not something Neeb wants to replace. He will, mind you. How many storms does he have? Hatchery does end up falling, and that's a recall. All he wanted to do was kill the hatch, and then he would get out of there. So that works. I mean, I don't even know if it's worth replacing at this point. About 1,000 gas, and I would assume maybe 1,500 minerals over here, maybe 2,000. Recall, good unit. That's another thing, Protoss players. If you find yourself deep on Zerg territory, getting surrounded, that's the time to recall home. That is the prime opportunity. Don't do it in most other situations. It could be a waste. Look, +3 air weapons is coming in. Air weapons. Remember when Scarlett denied weapons level 2? I remember that. That was good. +3 flyer attack finishes. Flux Veins on the way for the Void Rays. All 0 of them that we have on the board right now, but we're making 6 to deal with the Corruptors. Again, it's just a game of chess. Late game ZVP is all about, what is my opponent doing? What can I make to destroy what they're doing? We'll see transitions into mostly Void Rays and a few carriers. Back into mostly carriers, into a few Void Rays, depending on the Hydralisk count, depending on the Corruptor count. Top left base by Neeb is pretty aggressive, but there's creep down here, so taking this base doesn't make sense at all. I guess that's really his only option unless he wants to retake his main, but I still feel like killing the Fleet Beacon would have been nice. Like, just leave a couple Hydras here. Kill that Fleet Beacon. I don't know. Hindsight is 2020. Observer Sight, where you have full vision of the whole map, is also 2020. Yeah, so scouting out. This top left is being taken, and I'm not sure. If you could wander down here. The thing is, wandering down here with Scarlett's army would just trigger another base trade scenario. You could probably kill this stuff as long as Neeb didn't recall home. But then he'd be able to kill all your stuff while you're killing his stuff, and then it's a base race, and who enjoys that? Changelings. Changeling, it says. They do have Zealot portraits, though, when they're a Changeling. Also Marine portraits, if they're a Marine Changeling. Kind of fun bit of trivia. You don't usually see the portraits in games that are being cast, right? Alright, so we're doing the Spore Crawler thing, which is why we gave Tempest the Tectonic Destabilizer's ability. There are no Tempests, though, which might be his problem. Here for Neeb, usually you handle the situation with the Tempest. You burn down the spores. It's a lot easier to handle everything else. The reason Zerg make these spores is because it makes it really hard for things like Void Rays and carriers to engage. Hydra's doing a bit of a sneak attack down this way. Our High Templar, though. Like, we can handle 2 Archons and a couple Immortals. Ah, but there's 4 High Templar. Never mind. Never you mind at all. Man, we've heard this sound a lot today, huh? Hit that like button, by the way, if you're enjoying this one, because holy smokes. Is a good match. Ooh, good abducts. A Void Ray dies. I mean, okay. Sure. I mean, it's worth it, right? One spell, basically an insta-kill on something. Great. We'll take that any day of the week, especially with something big. Like a carrier, or a High Templar, or an Archon, or an Immortal, or a Void Ray, or an Oracle. Basically anything here getting abducted and insta-killed is going to be good value. The trick is when you abduct and don't kill it, then it's bad value. It's no value at all. Are we long distance mining down here? Yeah, this bottom right base has not been taken. So, you know, look, again, Neeb's heading down this way, which means this base is pretty darn open to dying. I mean, this number of cannons is not going to do anything against the particular setup we're seeing, especially with the Lurker Hydra stuff. Prismatic alignment, good unit. Abducting? Oh, feedbacking, though. Ah, I think Neeb won that engagement. Let's say for sure that engagement was won by the Neebster. Spore Crawler's main enemies are things that don't fly, though. Obviously, nice snipe on this bottom right hatch, though. That's a big deal for Neeb. Sniping this bottom right-hand hatch and keeping his top left base is hugely good. This group is up here? Man, they made quite a trip from that bottom right all the way up to the top here, didn't they? Certainly did. Ooh, this really feels like Neeb has this thing. He's making Tempest. He's got another mothership on the way. He's got more of a bank, both in minerals and gas. He's got more workers, which seems extremely useful as well. He's actually sacking probes to get more of an army. We're not in Fist of Neeb territory yet. That hatch dies? Okay, alright. Well, this is us being done. I mean, that's it, man. Scarlett doesn't have any income anymore. None. She can't win this. Not with how careful Neeb is being, and not with how technically excellent he is. He's taking this base too. Sacking probes so he can make a bigger army at all times. Fist of Neeb is a game from like 2015 where Neeb literally sacked all of his probes but one, and then made a giant Skytoss army of 199 supply. You don't see it a lot because it's extremely dangerous to do, because if you lose, you're never rebuilding. Like, your income is done, right? So we don't see it a lot. That's why it is remembered to this day. I don't know. I mean, I guess Scarlett is taking two bases in the bottom right, which is cool. She needs the people to handle this army, though. Neeb does not want to go deep onto the creep under any circumstances, and he backs out, obviously. Small Hydra group's like, alright, I am tired. I'm really tired of Neeb dancing around and refusing to engage at all here. So tell you what, let's come down. Get stormed in the face by this roving group of Immortal Archon High Templar. I don't know, maybe kill this nexus of a base that's entirely dead. We feel good about that, right? Base is entirely dead. There's nothing here at all of value other than this robotics facility. And maybe the pylons. I don't think Neeb needs those pylons, but look, this base is running. See the income tab? Do you see the income tab favoring the Protoss right now? Tectonic destabilizers on the way. That increases the damage that the Tempest do versus ground targets. Abducts? Sure. It's, wow, a double round of abducts to kill those Tempests. Okay, I don't know, 2 abducts to kill, insta-kill a Tempest counts, I guess. So, it's 2 base versus 2 base mining. Scarlett's developing a decent bank at this point. I guess there's a path for her to victory now. But if she loses this hatch, like, that's it. You just wander in with the carriers, you focus down the hatchery, and then you get out of there. We did this already. You just throwing up shield batteries in the middle of the map so you can retreat to those when the going gets rough. This is so disgusting. And Scarlett can't really engage because it's off creep. Just, I mean, right up on the edge of the creep here. Fully visible what is happening here. The Corruptors are like, Who's killing the Void Rays? Storms are happening. I'd love to see an Abduct on the High Templar, but there's really nothing ground in this area for them to die. This is where you're worried about losing this bottom right hatch? Scarlett! Friend! Save the... it's just dead. He's just dead. And this is just GG. Like, that attack did nothing. This base is dead. Neeb's got a big army. I mean, this hatch is dead too. This is your GG. C'est le GG. Yep. Thanks for coming, everybody. That is a win for the American Neeb. Canadian Scarlett not able to handle the immediate sniping of bases that are possible with the Skytoss army. The Abducts weren't good enough. The Lurkers did not get enough value. Neeb never directly engaged with Scarlett's army once today. Scarlett never forced an engagement either. They both were able to keep themselves in positions where engaging would have been death for the other player. And that's it, man. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's nice Abducts. I'm not going to say no to that. You'll notice that Scarlett's army is slowly going down. It doesn't have any gas income at all. Has no gas either. So it can't make any units that are useful here, right? Zerglings aren't going to do a gosh darn thing against this army. Mothership has arrived, just adding insult to injury at this point. If the Lurkers could do anything at all against these High Templar, it'd be a much different game, but they haven't been able to. And Neeb once again clears out the creep, then pulls back. He's feeling a little bit braver here. Maybe he doesn't need the creep to recede all the way. There's enough Corruptors to one-shot a Mothership. Okay. 45, oh my, 45 Corruptors. This might be a game where it's like, Scarlett defeats the Skytoss army, but she has 40 Corruptors left over, and then Neeb just makes like 60 Zealots and wins. 37-minute mark, getting cannon rush at the bottom right expansion here is Scarlett. Just kidding, the cannons all died. The Lurkers are getting some value here. You know, as they do sometimes. What the visual... That was a weird glitch. Alright, Scarlett's engaging. Here we go. Let the storms flow. Remember when I was like, Lings aren't going to help you? Lings are not really going to help you. They all just mostly died there. Are we engaging here? Kind of. Storm. Prismatic alignment. Void Rays, though. So much storm. Just infinite storms. You know. And GG Neeb wins. 38 minutes, 19 seconds. Protoss. That was a lot of Psionic Storm, man. So much Psionic Storm. 61,000 resources lost for Scarlett. 50,000 for Neeb. And yeah, if you can kill 12 hatcheries and a hive in a game, you're going to do all right as your Protoss. Don't worry about it. I mean, he ended up losing 3 Nexuses, which is a lot, but not as much as 12 hatches, that's for sure. So nicely done. Again, Neeb never got too deep into Zerg territory unless he could, you know, it was safe to do so. Never got caught out, never got surrounded, recalled, as patient as can be. And then once Scarlett, out of desperation, had to engage, it was just throw down all of the storms you've been saving up. Prismatic alignment gets popped on your Void Rays, and everything dies. I mean, if we look, just watch army supply down here. Right? It's 148 to 147. I mean, a lot of that is Lurkers, which are like, not involved in this final conflict. But this is 42 Corruptors. And it's 127 to 31 total supply at the end there, 28. So yeah, that's just some cost-efficient stuff, man. Fighting over the shield batteries didn't help either, but Neeb, you're an absolute boss. What a fantastic, fantastic display of how to do this thing. Wow. Well played indeed, Les Américains. Well, good. That was fun. I mean, it was very rare. You basically lose each player's main bases halfway through the game, and then it turns into kind of a regular match after that. You know, it takes a while to restabilize, but then at this point, I mean, other than the missing main bases, it's not that weird of a match. You know, we had full maxed out armies, we had banks being built, we had good upgrades, and Neeb just came out on top. Great decision making, great micro. That's what it's all about. All right, good stuff. That right there is gonna be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself.